One of the best ways to have a great time at college and make great memories is quite simple. Many might think it starts with going to parties or spending extra time in the library, but I have found that the key to a great college life is getting involved. Student organizations and clubs have been known for years to bring people together. Some of these organizations even make a family for students that they can carry with them for the rest of their lives. Hi, I'm Jordan Fenueli, and today's episode of Things I Wish I Knew College Edition is about the importance of student engagement and involvement. Throughout my 4 years at college, I have joined 7 organizations. Now, I'm not saying that everyone needs to join that many, but I will say there are some benefits to joining campus clubs. One of the things that I'm involved in is a program that works with first-year students to help integrate them into the college classes. We go over great things such as study tips and networking, as well as the importance of joining these campus clubs. Studies from the program have shown that students who join at least one organization are more likely to succeed and graduate, as well as end the specific class with an A.
Woo!
Now, before you write off campus organizations, here are some benefits that I have compiled to get you interested. Clubs and organizations can help build your resume. A lot of jobs after you graduate will look for people that were involved as well as received the good grades. Sometimes they will even pick the more involved student to show that they spent time getting out there and enhancing their soft skills like teamwork. Another thing is that clubs can help you make friends. Like I said earlier, joining student organizations are the heart of where a lot of people find their on-campus families. Throughout the clubs that I have joined, I can fully say that I have made friends for a lifetime that I would have never met if it had not been for getting involved. A third thing is that clubs can help you with career exploration. A lot of students come to college having no idea what they want to do, and that's perfectly okay. Organizations specific to different majors can help you figure out what you would like to do with your life or even what you don't want to do. Now, I could talk about my experiences all day, but here are what some of the people on campus have to say about it. What are you involved in on campus?
I am involved in women's club basketball and women in business.
I've been involved in Buck Films and Overlooked in Appalachia and East Tennessean. Well, I used to be an RA, so I was involved on that front.
I am a part of the East Tennessean. I was part of the powerlifting club there for a little bit, the boxing club as well.
I'm an arts major, so I do a lot of stuff with the arts program.
I'm involved in a few clubs and organizations. I used to be involved in marching band, but got really busy, so had to drop that. I'm involved with Buck Films. I'm also really involved at the eTissue BCM, so I help there a lot. I'm on the leadership team, and that's very fun. Really good community and people and friends.
Yeah, thank you very much.
For the rest of today's episode, we will hear from Loren Gibson, a graduate student who not only has a lot of experience with college clubs, but someone I have worked with for most of my time on campus. Loren, when did you graduate undergrad and what are you up to now?
Yeah, well, hi. Thanks for having me. I graduated from ETSU with a degree in rehabilitative health sciences in May of 2023. And now I'm still at ETSU in speech-language pathology graduate school pursuing my master's degree. And I also serve as the graduate assistant for the Buccaneer Involvement Guides program, which is part of the new Student and Family Programs department at ETSU.
What was your involvement when you were in undergrad? I knew you were involved in so many things. That's why I thought you were perfect to talk about student engagement. So what are some of those things that you were involved in?
So I was so busy in undergrad. I was in the honors college, so I was involved in research quite a bit. I did some study away trips. I never went abroad, thanks to COVID, but I did some study away trips to New York City. I was also a tutor for the TRIO programs, so for low-income, first-generation students, I tutored paper writing, biology, calculus, pretty much wherever they needed me, I was ready to help. And then for organizations that I was involved in, I was an expedition leader, so I was a tour guide, and I got to meet all kinds of new students.
That's where she met me, guys.
Students.
She met me there.
I did. That's where I met Jordan. and their families. And so I really loved getting to connect with the first part of their journey at ETSU. And then I was also a big, and so it was really cool to have the transition from being a big to now supervising bigs and helping them in their journey in undergrad.
Why should students get involved with student organizations and clubs on campus?
I just think that student involvement is absolutely invaluable to a college experience. I was not very involved my freshman year, so I came to ETSU in 2020. So most things were on Zoom. There wasn't a whole lot to get involved in at the time. It was so unpredictable and unprecedented. So I was not involved in a lot. And starting my sophomore year, I was involved in all of the things that I just mentioned. That is really when I started getting involved. It was a huge jump, and it was overwhelming. And I wish that I would have eased in a little bit more than trying to be involved in everything at once, starting my sophomore year. But I felt like I had already wasted my first whole year by being on Zoom, and a lot of it was my fault because I didn't realize the importance of involvement. But then once I was involved and had friends and clubs and organizations, I realized how much I missed my freshman year. So I think the most beneficial part of involvement is just networking and making those connections and putting yourself out there for sure.
Yeah. With that, what was the most beneficial part of getting involved on campus for you?
For me, I think the lifelong friendships that I've made. So I have friends that are all over the country now from organizations that I was involved in, and I miss them dearly when they're not in Johnson City, but I talk to them regularly, and it's just nice to have people from a particular stage of life that you are in.
Yeah. What are some tips that you have for students getting involved on campus? This could be undergraduates or even people in, those higher level courses. What are some tips that you have for them?
Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. I think coming from a very small high school, I think my graduating class had less than 140 students. So coming from a very small high school where everybody knew everybody, all the teachers knew everybody, it was really intimidating to kind of go out of my comfort zone and push myself to be involved and do uncomfortable things where I didn't know anybody and nobody knew me. So I think my number one tip would just be to not be afraid, because everybody's in the same boat. Everybody, especially freshmen, are coming in not knowing what college is like, not knowing what to expect, and you're all going to kind of find your rhythm together. So I would say, yes, don't be afraid to put yourself out there, and don't be afraid to try and fail. Not every club meeting that you go to, not every organization that you join is going to be the one for you. So don't feel like you have to join one and commit to it for the rest of your time at ETSU or in college, wherever.
I know that you work with a lot of students who are typically non-traditional students. They have busy work schedules. They're going and they're doing so many other stuff. What are some ways that you think that students can get involved on campus when they have those busy work schedules or things going on?
Yeah. I think that quality over quantity is really important. So it's not necessarily about joining every single club that you've ever thought about joining or that you even have the slightest interest in, but joining one or two that you're really passionate about and you really want to serve in. And I think being an open communicator with the people in those clubs and the leaders of those clubs, and also with other people in your life, like your bosses at work or your professors or whatever, I think that's really important.
What is a favorite memory that you have from a student organization?
Oh my goodness, there's so many. One that really sticks out, and I think this specific memory and this specific experience was when I really felt like, okay, this is kind of my first introduction to the college experience and being involved and having friends in an organization, was the beginning of my sophomore year. All of the expedition leaders got together at 9 or 10 o'clock at night and played hide and seek in the Culp Center.
I love that.
And it was so much fun, and we just bonded so well, and we still talk about it. That was over 3 years ago, and we still laugh and talk about it, and it was just such a good time, and that's something that I'm always going to remember from college.
Those random fun times that you have with student organizations.
Yeah, exactly. And it made the times that we had to be professional so much easier and so much better because we bonded so well in the times that we didn't have to be together.
And making those friends, those connections, those networking.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
All right. What is a fun story to share from your student organizations?
Gosh, I don't know.
It's okay. We don't have
That's
to
such
do
a hard
this.
question. So, okay, this didn't happen in the student organization, but a lot of the friends that I made while I was an expedition leader came to my wedding.
Yes.
And so we had such
And
a great
congratulations
time.
on that.
Thank you. It was so much fun, and that was just a really great memory outside of, because we'd all graduated, and
Yeah.
but I don't guess it was funny, but that's just a fun memory
Yeah,
that I have
like that.
later on. Yeah.
What is something that you wished you knew in undergrad?
I wish that I knew that I didn't have to do everything, but I also needed to do something.
Mm-hmm.
So in high school, again, I was super involved. I mean, if there was a club, you name it, I was in it. I was probably the president of it. And so coming to college, I didn't know where to start because there was so many more things to be involved in, so many more things to do. And like I said, I kind of just spent my freshman year thinking, oh, well, involvement's not important. I don't really need to do anything. That's not why I'm here. I want to get a degree. You know, I'm really focused on school. And it was the end of my freshman year that I started thinking, I've not made that many friends outside of my little honors cohort. I don't really have that many connections across campus. I don't know any faculty members because everything's been on Zoom. And it was really isolating. And so I wish that I could go back in time and tell myself, like, it's okay to explore things, and it's okay to not know. But you do need to try, and you do need to put forth that effort.
With that, what are some ways that you would recommend for people like that starting point? Like getting started with organizations?
Go to Welcome Week. Again, I know I've said this probably 20 times already, but COVID, I feel robbed my freshman year because COVID was just crazy, such a crazy time. And so a lot of the Welcome Week activities were either on Zoom or they were just an email, and I didn't really have the chance to talk to anybody in person. Like you would go up to like a table and say, hey, what's your organization like? And a lot of these things were on the weekend, and I didn't have a roommate again because of COVID. So I would just go home because my house is 45 minutes away. So I would go home and spend time with my family versus spending the whole weekend by myself. So I would say Welcome Week is a huge one because you can walk around and see a lot of things that ETSU has to offer. Ask your preview leader what they're involved in, what they like to do.
For those who don't know, what is preview?
Preview is an experience the week before college starts, or I guess classes start for freshmen. It's a transition experience, so you get to bond with people in your class. You have a couple of group leaders that are upperclassmen that'll help you out and show you around. And it's a really great organization. I wish that I would have done Preview and Polo, but I just never did. But yeah, definitely ask them what they're involved in, and just talk to faculty members, talk to your professors. If you're interested in something, look on BuckHub, which is a huge database of all of the organizations and clubs that are at ETSU. And if you don't see something that you're interested in, I would really encourage you to start one.
All right, the final thing that I have is, what is something that you would tell your freshman self?
Enjoy it while it lasts. I, as a graduate student, that's like a semester and a half away from graduating, I think back on college and I'm like, how in the world was that years ago at this point? And I miss it so much more than I thought I would. My roommate for the whole time that I was in undergrad lives in Memphis now, and so I don't really get to talk to her much, or I've not seen her in so long. And so it's really hard when you're in the moment of the stress and the busy seasons, and you just don't know what you're doing with your life, and it's finals week and you're panicking in the floor of the library. But those are the times that you're going to miss. And so really try to be present in the moment and just enjoy everything that college has to offer while you can.
Well, thank you very much, Loren,
Yeah,
for
of
coming over
course.
here. I hope you have the best day ever.
Yeah, you too.
Special thanks to ETSU, the RTVF Tech Team and Department, Brad Bodie, Stacy Whittaker, Tim Altonen, Lauren Gibson, and Upbeat Music.